live from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Good evening and welcome to the National News broadcast, bringing to you live from the National News Studios here at the ChannelEye Rupavahini Corporation. We are ready to bring you the top stories here at home and around the world. I am Charita Vinipurarachi, together with Sharifa Tahir. Today is the final grand processions of Kandy and Katharagama Asala festivals. Highest number of spectators at the Kandy Asala festival in history. Provincial Council expenditure management responsibility assigned to governors. President says a governance structure with fair representation for each party will be formulated. Attention to resume the home care system for COVID-19 patients. Online registration for maize farmers. Donald Trump prevents from responding to inquiries pertaining to his business. On to those and other stories in detail now, starting off with the top local story. Today is the Nikini Full Moon Poet Day, which had paved the way for many significant incidents in the history of Buddha Sasana. Now being of the on full point finding Ananda Mahathera, who attained Arahathood on the day of the Mahasangayana. According to the Sasana history, on this occasion, Ananda Mahathera had delivered the noble Dhamma and Upali Mahathera the code of discipline. It is also on a Nikini Full Moon Poet Day that performance of the Vas Vinay Karma of bhikkhus who had not attained the performance prior to the day takes place. The Nikini Poet Day is also known as the Dharamiti Poya, symbolizing a cultural feature of the Sinhala Buddhist. In the ancient past, Buddhists had protected the Udamalu of the Sri Mahabodhi from adversaries and wild beasts by blazing fires and keeping awake. The first Dhamma sermon of the series of Dharmadipani was held at the Prime Minister's office this morning. The sermon was delivered by Deputy Chief Sanganaik of Colombo and Halwath divisions and Chief Incumbent of Paliyagoda Vidyalankara Pirivana, Venerable Varamitiyave Kirthi Gnanaratana Thera. Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena was also present at this occasion. The Sadharma Varsha Poet Day religious program organized by the ChannelEye Rupavahini Corporation was telecast throughout the day today from the historic Katharagama Kirivehara Rajamahawihare. The monthly Dharma sermon on Poet Day religious program was delivered by Chief Incumbent of Vyodakhandiya Historic Rajamahawihare, Venerable Mahavala Mahinda Thera. A large gathering of devotees was seen at the historic Ruanvalisaya Sacred Rite from this morning. A sale program with the participation of many devotees was held at the Jayasri Mahabodhiya sacred site today. And the final grand procession of the Kandy and Katharagama Asala festival will parade the streets today. The festival was held without spectators in the last 2 years due to COVID-19 pandemic and Easter Sunday attack. Accordingly, this year's Kandy Asala festival has recorded the highest number of spectators in the history. The surrounding areas of the Sri Dalada Maligava Kandy are filled with large gatherings of devotees and spectators. The historic Asala festival, a tradition being carried from the ancient times, is held annually in honor of the sacred Jyot relic of the Buddha enshrined at the Sri Dalada Maligava in Kandy. The Perahara commenced from the Dalada Maligava and proceeded along the Dalada Vidya, Yatinura Vidya, Hill Street, near Senanayaka Vidya and Raja Vidya before returning to the Dalada Maligava. More than 500,000 pilgrims and spectators have arrived in Kandy to witness the Perahara. Steps were taken to close all entry routes to city by 2 p.m. due to the increasing number of pilgrims. A special program to protect the festival and public has also been facilitated accordingly. The live telecast of the final Grand Randoli Perahara of the Asala Festival is on the national television ChannelEye, while the Grand Perahara of the Ruhun Katharagama Mahadevalaya Asala Festival will live telecast on ChannelEye from 9:50 p.m. The live telecast of the final Grand Randoli Perahara of the Kandy Asala Festival is on the national television ChannelEye, while the final Grand Perahara of the Ruhunu Katharagama Mahadevalaya Asala Festival will live telecast on ChannelEye from 9:50 p.m. Now we move on to the live telecast of the final Randoli Perahara of the Kandy Asala Festival.
The responsibility of maintaining the provincial administration and development process in an orderly manner, as well as managing the expenses of the provincial council, has been assigned to the governors in the background of non-functioning provincial councils. The Secretary to the President, Samaneka Nayaka, according to the instructions of President Ranil Wickremesinghe, has officially informed all provincial governors in this regard. In the prevailing challenging times, it is extremely important to manage public expenditure and maintain public services at optimal levels. The President's Media Division said in a statement that it is important to work in accordance with national policies and priorities in the management of provincial council administration, development activities and provincial council expenses, as well as meeting the daily needs of the people. The statement has further indicated that the governors should maintain a healthy coordination with all parliamentarians and the Office of the President in the implementation of development projects in their provinces. Accordingly, the governors have been informed to conduct discussions with the parliamentarians of their relevant provinces at least once a fortnight and arrange and maintain a regular dialogue over the development activities implemented through the Provincial Council. The statement sent by the Secretary to the President has also indicated that President Wickremesinghe will direct attention over the support extended by the governors to fulfill the national objectives during this challenging period. President Ranil Wickremesinghe says that his aim is to prepare a governance structure with fair representation for each party.
The President made these remarks during discussions held at the President's office yesterday with several parties over the formation of an all-party government.
The All Ceylon Muslim Congress, led by MP Rishad Badiuddin, the group including MP Anura Priyadarshana Yaba, the Sri Lanka Muslim Congress, led by MP Rauf Hakim, the Tamil Makkal Thesiya Kuttani Party, led by MP C.V. Vigneshwaran, the Tamil Progressive Alliance, led by MP Mano Ganeshan, were present at the discussions. President Ranil Wickremesinghe said that the work of appointing parliamentary sectoral oversight committees is currently underway and noted that the need to establish several interim committees has also been recognized. He pointed out that the main objective is to establish the National Assembly and the representation of all parties, and full representation of other parties and groups in the alliances is necessary for the Assembly. President Wickremesinghe explained the importance of extending the same power and representation for committee chairpersons as cabinet ministers and having them participate in cabinet discussions when necessary. He further requested that the respective parties discuss and inform him whether they represent the committee system or not, whether they will join the government.
And meanwhile, the EU delegation in Colombo assured the European Union will be a partner of Sri Lanka in the challenging times.
The EU ambassadors made the assurance during a meeting with President Ranil Wickremesinghe yesterday.
In a tweet, the EU delegation in Colombo said that EU ambassadors had a constructive meeting with the Sri Lankan president. The delegation of the European Union to Sri Lanka pointed out that the protection of civil and human rights, above all freedom and expression of an all right dissent, into utmost importance. The ambassadors agreed to bring Sri Lanka back on track, required joint and inclusive action on foreign affairs. They further said that the European Union encourages the president to devote special attention on three ongoing key processes, namely GSP+, IMF and Human Rights Council. The EU delegation in Colombo added that the European Union expects to concrete steps taken by the Sri Lankan government to make these processes a success.
The ambassador of the United Arab Emirates, Khaled Nasser Al Ameri, called on the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ali Sabri, at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs yesterday. Foreign Minister Ali Sabri briefed the ambassador on the current economic situation in Sri Lanka and the tangible action taken so far by the government to increase the resilience of the Sri Lankan economy. The Foreign Minister further invited UAE to engage in broader cooperation with Sri Lanka in the field of agriculture, trade and investment. The ambassador congratulated the Foreign Minister on his appointment as the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Sri Lanka, emphasized the importance of Sri Lanka-UAE bilateral relationship and assured all possible support to Sri Lanka at this time.
And meanwhile, the brother of SJB MP Dilip Vedarachi, former Southern Provincial Councillor Nihal Vedarachi, has been remanded until tomorrow by Tangol Magistrates Court today. He has been revealed with various charges in connection with the violent incidents took place near the Tangul Carlton House on May 9. The suspect has been granted with 2 personal bails, each worth 100,000 rupees, and has been remanded until tomorrow for allegedly disrupting the duties and influencing the police officers. The relevant orders were issued by Acting Tangul Magistrate Ranjit Gunasekara.
Director General of Health Services Dr. Asela Gunawardena urged the public to adhere to health guidelines once again with the increase of daily COVID-19 infections. He also said that the home care system for the COVID-19 patients will resume in the near future. Dr. Asela Gunawardena said that between 180 to 200 daily COVID-19 infections are being reported in the country. He said that a new COVID-19 variant has been detected in the country at present. He added that the new COVID-19 variant is similar to the previously detected COVID-19 variants. Therefore, he pointed out the importance of wearing face masks in public gatherings and adhering to relevant health guidelines. The Director General of Health Services requested the public to reach out for health officials if they are suffering from COVID-19 related symptoms. He also said that the home care system for COVID-19 patients will resume in near future. He said that around 50% of the population have been inoculated with the 3rd dose of the vaccine. He added that inoculation of the 4th dose is currently underway, especially targeting those who are above 60 years of age and those who are suffering from comorbidities.
The Agrarian Development Department has initiated an online program to register farmers involved in maize cultivation. The aim of this initiative is to streamline all information related to agriculture industry into one system. Close to 60,000 hectares of maize are expected to be cultivated in the next Maha season. The annual requirement of maize is at 450,000 metric tons. Accordingly, Govia app has been introduced with information of all farmers with the aim to streamline the program. All relevant details, including the number of maize farmers required, urea fertilizer quantities, cultivation lands and harvest quantities, can be obtained through the app. Minister Mahinda Amaravira said that animal food production has also declined due to the failures pertaining to maize cultivation in the previous Maha season. And a discussion over the implementation of a new national cinema policy and modernization of the National Film Corporation to enhance the Sri Lankan cinema was held yesterday.
Minister Bandula Gunawardena presided over the meeting. Secretary to the Ministry of Mass Media, Anusha Pelpiter, new chairman of the National Film Corporation, attorney at law Deepal Chandraratna, parliamentarian Geeta Kumarasinghe, heads of state media institutions, veterans in Sri Lankan cinema, producers and theatre hall owners were present at this occasion. The meeting was held at the Ministry of Mass Media. The minister pointed out that accelerated measures should be taken to create a new culture for cinema in the country. Minister Bandula Gunawardena said that due to the closure of many theatres and without an international market for the industry, difficulties have risen to attract investors for the industry and to cover the relevant expenditures related to creations. Therefore, he said that cinema theatres should be established with cooperation of local government institutions. He added that relevant constitutional changes will be introduced to uplift the corporation and the industry while facilitating welfare for those involved in the industry. He also said that President's Awards had not been held in a considerable period. Therefore, he said that a ceremony will be organised before the end of this year. That's it on local stories. We'll be back with news overseas.
මගේ කලා ජීවිතයට දැන් අවුරුදු ගාණක් වෙනවා. පුංචි මදුරුවෙක් හින්දා අහිංසක ජීවිත ගණනාවක් මේ ලෝකේ අතහැරලා ගිය අවස්ථා ඕන තරම් මම දැකලා තියෙනවා. දැන්වත් අපි මේක නතර කරමු.
Welcome back with international news. Former US President Donald Trump has declined to cooperate with an inquiry as part of a New York State investigation into his family's business practices.
State officials accuse the Trump organization of misleading authorities about the value of its assets in order to get a favorable loan and tax breaks. Former U.S. President Trump had sued in an effort to block the interview at the New York Attorney General's office yesterday. Trump has denied wrongdoing and has called the civil probe a witch hunt. Trump in a statement criticized New York attorney and the broader investigation. The New York Attorney General's office confirmed that the interview and that former U.S. President Trump invoked his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. His deposition comes just days after the FBI executed an unprecedented search warrant at his Florida estate, Mar-a-Lago, as part of a separate investigation that that is reportedly linked to his handling of classified material.
Terima Kotumi Pantan.
Sports update: the Australian cricket team has extended a financial donation to economically stricken Sri Lanka. The necessary funds will be allocated for children and families affected by the economic crisis. A total of 45,000 Australian dollars has been donated by the Australian cricket team. The relevant funds will be extended to Sri Lanka through UNICEF. P. Vishwanathan has been elected as the new chairman of the Sri Lanka Hockey Federation. He previously served as the secretary to the federation. The election was held at the Sports Ministry Auditorium. BMTV Basnaika has been appointed as the new secretary, while G.S. Kapukotu has been appointed as the treasurer. The new office bearers were elected for the team of 7 years.
Terima Kotumi Pantan.
And with that, we conclude tonight news. Do it just tomorrow at the very same time. I'm Charita, signing off with Sharifa. Stay safe.